This is Wrestling Uncensored. Tonight on the show, we're previewing AEW Full Gear. Let's go! Yes, indeed. We are ready. We are ready. Where's Johnny? Oh, there he is. What's up, Johnny?
Well, survived another week of Raw, which was always rough, but looking forward to Saturday, actually, for Full Gear. I don't think you are, but I think it might actually be a decent pay-per-view.
No, I am. I think we got a lot of good matches on this pay-per-view. Why would you think I'm not excited for it?
Last week. Last week you were like, oh, this is going to be terrible.
Well, I just don't think that the build for a lot of these matches has made a lot of sense. I don't love the booking going into this pay-per-view, but I think a lot of the matches on it should be good. I think a lot of these things have been kind of sloppily put together.
I thought Smackdown was definitely the best show I saw this week. I thought Smackdown was pretty good tonight.
Smackdown was all right. You thought Smackdown was better than Dynamite?
Well, Dynamite had its moments, but like, here's the main problem. Like, you had Jericho, you had Danielson, Guevara, Castagnoli. That was the first match. What was your main event? I'll tell you. It was Toni Storm against Anna Jay.
Well, it was a promo with Regal and Moxley and MJF. Right.
Okay. But still, that was your last match. I mean, just the way they positioned a lot of things was kind of odd. And like, I thought the trios match was fine, but it's not much of a build. Just like, oh, they're coming back and they get the match just out of nowhere. Some of the things were just kind of like, well, it's just,
they're the former champions. And they've been building the Elite. It makes sense that the Elite gets the match. They've been playing the videos, and like Pac said in his promo, he's not stupid. He's been seeing the videos. He knows that the Elite is somewhere, and they want the belts back. It's obvious. Like, it's obvious to us. I like that. That Pac was like, I've seen the videos. I'm not stupid. I know what's going on here. And, you know, we're all thinking the same thing while we're watching the videos, especially last week, I think, when they mentioned the Trios Championship at some point, like how they won and how they disappeared. Yeah. So it seemed obvious that they were out for revenge, well, not revenge on Pac and the Lucha guys, but, out for revenge to get their championship back, out to regain their spot. And, of course, the Death Triangle in the way. So it seemed obvious to us, so why wouldn't it be obvious to Pac? I actually think that build is one of the better built matches of this pay-per-view, which will be the Elite, of course, returning Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, fresh off their cage match, blood fight, biting, whatever, with CM Punk. It was Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson versus CM Punk, Ace Steel, and CM Punk's dog Larry, I understand. It was a 6-man tag for the Trios Championship. Punk tried to challenge. He was world champion at the time. I don't know if you remember this, John. CM Punk was an AEW world champion. He hasn't actually been defeated for the championship, and AEW never really explained to me why. I really wonder why he's not champion anymore. It's kind of weird. Last time I watched an AEW pay-per-view, CM Punk won the title, and now he's not around anymore. And nobody in AEW wants to comment and tell me exactly why. Nevertheless, I think it was Punk, his dog, and Ace Steel versus the Elite. And then, the Elite took a beating, and they had to take some time off, and now they're back for revenge. They beat the dog, and now they're out to get Pac. That's a story, right?
I guess that's the story you want to make up in your mind. Sure, fine. But the way I'm seeing it is just that this whole almost big match, all the big matches, except I guess for Saraya and Britt Baker, they had to reschedule every little thing pretty much. And everything got switched around in terms of their original idea. So like, I think they had elements of that idea of like Punk versus MJF, and they threw it into Moxley MJF. And you see some of it, and you're like, it's a little bit off because it'd fit better if Punk was there, you know? Like I feel like a lot of MJF's promos would work better if it was Punk.
Yeah. I think the build to MJF and Moxley has been interesting. It's been a bit weird, but I mean, we can get into it. There's a lot of matches on this card. We got to preview the whole thing. We've got Jon Moxley versus MJF, of course, in the main event for the AEW World Championship. In what I expect will be MJF's crowning moment, becoming AEW World Champion for the first time. We also have Swerve in Our Glory, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland challenging the Acclaimed in a rematch for the tag team titles. Toni Storm defending the AEW Women's Championship against Jamie Hayter. Interim Women's Championship, whatever you want to call it. Chris Jericho defending the Ring of Honor Championship, World Championship, in a fatal four-way against his buddy Sammy Guevara, Claudio Castagnoli, and Bryan Danielson, which is an odd match. And that's really the match I had a problem with, the booking of that one. It doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know how they're going to pull it off. It's a weird one. Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose. The booking of that match also doesn't make sense. Who's the babyface here? Jade Cargill is supposed to be a heel, I think. But here we have Nyla Rose, who stole her championship, and Nyla Rose is a heel too. So I don't really understand who you're supposed to root for. I, of course, am always rooting for Jade Cargill because she's amazing. But I like Nyla Rose too. Very entertaining Twitter follow, Nyla Rose. I don't know if you follow her on Twitter, John. You know, you might want to follow her before Twitter expires and disappears forever. According to Twitter, Twitter's not going. That's where I get most of my information from, and Twitter is telling me that Twitter is going to be gone soon. So,
it's okay. I still got AJ's feeds. It's okay.
Oh yeah,
I got news still.
AJ sends you his feeds. That's good. I'm glad you have the connection there. AJ, I told AJ not to send me the feeds. But yeah, Nyla Rose is really entertaining on Twitter. She's funny. Britt Baker against Saraya. I think that build actually has been really good. The promos back and forth have been solid. Again, I'm not sure who you're supposed to root for. I guess Britt is the heel. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal against Sting and Darby Allin. I don't love the vibe of that match. It feels too TNA Impact. Luchasaurus versus Jungle Boy, I think, has lost a lot of steam, but they could have a really good match in a steel cage. Death Triangle against the Elite probably steals the show for the six-man AEW championships. Wardlow defending the TNT title against Samoa Joe and Hobbs, I think could be really good. And it also could be forgettable. We'll see. And Brian Cage is supposed to take on he's supposed to take on Ricky Starks now, because Ricky Starks beat Lance Archer in the opener here. We're watching Rampage.
Right.
So Ricky Starks advanced in the tournament, and he'll be taking on Brian Cage in a semi-final match on the pre-show. Because this tournament didn't end on the pay-per-view. This tournament is ending on next week's Dynamite in Chicago. It'll be Ethan Page versus the winner. Ethan Page is already in the finals, and for some reason, Lance Archer and Ricky Starks had their first-round match tonight. What?
Well, it's because Starks was hurt last week, so they couldn't do the match. So
he's hurt for 1 week? 1 week? He's hurt and he can't do a match?
Yeah. Probably just wasn't cleared for whatever reason. I guess now he's cleared. I guess he may have had like a stinger or something.
I don't know. Whatever happened to wrestling, you know? If you got an injury that only takes you out for a week, well, you should have wrestled last week then. You know what I mean? If it's not that severe. You know what I'm talking about? You can walk, you can wrestle, that type of mentality. I know it's not like that anymore, but God
I
damn,
like
man.
that. Yeah.
You couldn't get the match done last week? What happened? Come on. But I know Starks has had some injury issues, so it's probably for the best. But it's just weird when you have this tournament where Ethan Page has already had 2 matches. He had his semifinal match against Bandito on Dynamite this week that he won. So now Ethan Page is in the finals. While Brian Cage beat Dante Martin, I think this week on Dynamite, or was it? No, it was last week on Dynamite.
Last week on Rampage.
Oh, Rampage. Okay. I know that. I only remember that because I was so impressed with AR Fox on Dynamite this week. And I know he teamed with Top Flight against the Death Triangle. I'd never seen AR Fox before. I'd kind of heard the name, but I'd never really watched any of his matches. I thought it was really good. I was impressed. And I liked him with Top Flight. I don't think Top Flight is a solid enough act to compete in their very stacked tag team division, but they don't have much of a 6-man tag division. And with AR Fox, I think that they could make a pretty good 6-man tag. Maybe work their way up. They had a good match with the Death Triangle.
Yeah, definitely. I thought that match really surprised me. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. Like Darius Martin, especially, like who's been out for pretty much the whole year. Like he got hurt and then got hurt again. Apparently, like his life was on the line last time. So, it's good to see that he was able to actually, walk again and like wrestle again. That's fantastic. And to, compete at that level again too. I mean, that's not easy to do as well. So that was really nice to see them. Like Death Triangle, in my opinion, like really put them over strong in that match. They didn't have to, but made them look really good. And that's what I think was really surprising, is that they let Top Flight do a lot of their moves. Where, you would think Death Triangle would just like steamroll through them, maybe give them a little bit, but they give them a lot. Especially AR Fox too. Like they kind of showcased him.
Yeah, they really did. He got a contract too.
I don't know if he signed yet or not. I know Bandito did sign.
Mm-hmm.
And he also got showcased as well with that match with Ethan Page. Like Ethan Page won the match, but Bandito pretty much dominated that match.
Yeah. But the Lucha Brothers and Pac, very giving. Like Orange Cassidy looked really good in his matches with Pac. Like these guys, they make people look better than they are.
Pac arguably is one of the best wrestlers in the world. I would say that. Like he's just fantastic. Like there's nothing he can't do, it seems like, in that ring. And he's so fluid in that ring. Like it feels like he's never tired, and like it feels like he's the fastest guy out there. Like everything he does just looks like it's the best thing.
Yeah.
I guess the Black Arrow kind of takes some time, but it's kind of understandable. But as long as they can kind of cover stuff like that, he's easily one of the best. And that's what's probably going to make that match really good. Like I think him and Kenny, they have good chemistry. Lucha Brothers have good chemistry with the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be good. I just worry that, in terms of like storytelling, like is it just going to be spot for spot, or are we going to actually tell a story? Like I feel like it's just going to be just spot fest.
Maybe, but it'll be like 5-star spot fest type of thing, man. It'll be good. It'll be good. But,
I worry
we'll see.
Be too long, though. That's what I worry about.
A lot of these matches could steal the show. There's a lot of talent on this card and a lot of matches that are interesting that could completely steal the show. Like the Jericho, Danielson, Castagnoli, Guevara match, that could easily be the best match on the card. It's awkwardly booked because, like, there's going to have to be some disagreement or something. Right. I think Danielson and Castagnoli probably have some sort of disagreement which leads to Jericho retaining. That's where I'm leaning. And Ryan Katz pointing out, shout out Ryan Katz, he says it's 100% predictable that Regal helps MJF win the championship, and a lot of people are predicting that. I had one of our viewers, Donovan, send me a message of a guy who was theorizing that MJF was going to align himself with Regal after this pay-per-view. I could see that happening. Shout out to Lorne. Shout out to everybody watching us live. If you're not watching us live, watching us later, shout out to you as well. Join.ringsidereport.net if you have not already. Become a member of the Ringside Report Network. Support the Ringside Report Network. We've got a big show tomorrow night. We're going to be staying up late for you tomorrow night, right after AEW Full Gear. We will be live to recap the action, give you our score on 10 on the pay-per-view, and give you our match of the night as well. Tomorrow night, John. You ready for that? Get the coffee ready. Get the whatever you're going to drink, the energy drinks. It's going to be a late one.
Well, for me, it's Gatorade Zero. If I can sponsor that.
Zero.
I wish they'd sponsor me. Gatorade Zero is fantastic.
We'll work on that. Get AJ on that. Call PR Mark. Get Mark the PR man on that. All right? Shout out Ray Cruz, member of the team. Thanks for the support, Ray. Appreciate you. Hit us up on Super Chat if you got any questions here tonight. Anything you want to say. If you're a member like Ray Cruz, you can call into the show as well. Just $5 a month, and you can call in anytime. Talk to us. Talk to Johnny. Talk to Big Johnny. I was talking to a guy today who knew you, Johnny, who was very familiar with your professional wrestling. Fan of Johnny North. You got fans everywhere. Wrestling fans everywhere.
Who was this person? Who was this person?
Nobody you know.
Have I met this person? No one I know. Well, that's nice though. That's
no,
okay,
he doesn't.
though.
You don't know him. He said he doesn't know you personally, but he knows of your wrestling. He's seen you wrestle.
That's pretty good. Probably seen those Onyx matches.
I mean, they've been fantastic. Fantastic matches.
Well, when I think about it in terms of like my most popular stuff, it's probably my stuff with Onyx. Like I think my Jeremy Prophet matches are like I've had the most matches with him, period, of anybody in the world, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like popularity, I think the matches with Onyx are the most popular matches I've ever done.
You have had some tremendous matches with Drew Onyx. And I love Drew Onyx. I think he's great. And I don't want to catch any heat or anything, but I am wearing our buddy Green Phantom's t-shirt right now.
Right.
And your matches with Green Phantom also fantastic. I like Green Phantom's.
I thought we were a better team.
Oh, yeah, you're a good team, too. Yeah. But I remember one match you had, I think, for a Jeremy Federation. Jeremy Paul Federation, you know? I think it was a Jeremy Paul Fed. And
right. Paul Rossetti.
It was you versus Phantom, and you had like a hardcore match that was just bananas. I think there was a garbage can thrown at somebody in the audience. It was good. It was wild.
I want to believe it's like a ricochet kind of thing. Like I think it bounced or something. Did it not?
Yeah, something. It wasn't on purpose.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, exactly. I know. So people blame the wrestlers for that. Like, oh, you guys are reckless and all that. It's like, it's gravity. It's not our fault. Like,
yeah,
things happen.
But yeah, your matches with Drew Onyx recently have been fantastic. I've seen a lot of those. The strap match, of course. The match where you defended the championship against him, right?
You were there, and your brother, yeah.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was a great match where you beat Drew, and then unfortunately he beat you in the return match and the strap match. And then recently he beat you as well, but that was really unfair. That was because your manager distracted you. You'll get your revenge on Drew Onyx, I know that. But those matches have been great, John, for sure. And I look forward to seeing you beat him again.
I beat him by count out. I've wrestled him 4 times. I beat him by count out. You didn't see that one.
I wasn't at that one, unfortunately. Yeah. But you're even. And you have another match for the Torture Chamber Pro Wrestling coming up, right?
Yeah, December 4th. I'm wrestling the guy who wrestled my partner, Bjorg, like Nick Mahagas, I believe is his name.
Oh, yeah.
And he already lost to my partner, so he's going to lose to me as well. But he's going to find out what it's like to wrestle me and how intense it's going to be. It's going to be interesting to see people's faces when that happens. It's always fun to see that.
Yeah, because I saw him wrestle, and he's definitely a game opponent, but he is not the monster Drew Onyx. Drew Onyx is a legend. Drew Onyx is a monster. Drew Onyx is maybe on his way to becoming the next NWA North American Heavyweight Champion, right? Is it
British Commonwealth.
British Commonwealth? Sorry. British. Give me the name of the belt. British Commonwealth. I always botch it up.
Oh, you just said British Commonwealth Championship.
Okay. But not NWA.
Oh, you could say that, but I mean, usually just British Commonwealth.
The British Commonwealth Championship. He may be on his way to winning it, although Bjorg may have something to say about it. But this other guy, McHaggis, I think he's an Irish fellow. He's I don't know if he could take the punishment that Drew Onyx can take, if you know what I mean. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with him.
Don't hurt anybody permanently, John. Just hurt him for the moment and maybe for the month.
You get in the ring with me, you've consented to a beating, so it's your own fault.
Yeah. They really have, too. I've seen John's matches. They are violent, and I love it. How professional wrestling is supposed to be, John. You're a top-rate professional wrestler. Your style is the style that I enjoy the most. You're a Sheamus-style wrestler, you know? You and Sheamus would be fantastic.
That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun, yeah.
Man.
Gunther, too, though. That'd be fun, too.
Yes. I did not like Gunther running from Braun Strowman tonight. Gunther doesn't run. Gunther doesn't scurry. Gunther stands and fights. He's Gunther.
You know, there's a time and a place, you know. When you're a heel and there's like a face that's taller than you, you can do the whole like, oh, there's a time and a place. It's not now. It's later.
We'll see.
Shout out Tony Mack. He hasn't.
What? Sorry.
He hasn't earned that shot yet. He hasn't earned that title shot. He's got to win the World Cup first.
The World Cup. Yes, of course. WWE helping Fox to promote the World Cup of Soccer by doing a ridiculous World Cup of Wrestling. Not even World Cup of Wrestling, World Cup of Smackdown with a Raw wrestler because they couldn't fill out the international bracket.
2 American teams.
I mean, it's mostly Americans in the thing.
Yeah.
Tony Mack out in England. What's up, Tony? Staying up late for us out in the UK. Appreciate you.
Must be happy. He's getting AEW next year.
Right. They're going to
the announcement.
England before they're coming back to Canada. What's the deal, Tony Khan?
Now he's mad.
Huh?
I said, now you're mad. Now you're venting.
Oh, not for nothing, Tony Khan, but I went to a WWE show, SmackDown. When was the SmackDown here, John? May?
August 19th.
August. Tony Khan. Vince, well, not, I think it was Vince at the time still. Or maybe it was Triple H. Had Triple H taken over? All right.
I think so.
Trips, the gamer, has given us SmackDown here in Montreal. There's another house show coming up in December. Then in February, they're giving us another SmackDown and Elimination Chamber. What are you giving us, Tony Khan? What are you giving us and the fine wrestling fans here in Montreal? Nothing. You're losing the market to the WWE because they're giving us a lot of content, a lot of live events here in the city of Montreal. Come on, Tony Khan.
Did you get your combo tickets?
No.
Oh, I'm surprised. Wow, they already sold out, too, the combo tickets.
Yeah, but they were like for 2 sections. They didn't sell most of the sections, you know? So I'm going to wait for the regular tickets to go on sale, and then I'll get tickets then. I'm not worried. It's not going to sell out, you know? Come on.
Well, I think Elimination Chamber will. I don't know about SmackDown, but Elimination Chamber, I would not be surprised if that sell out.
Eventually it'll sell out, but it won't sell out like, you know what I mean? When tickets go on sale, it'll take a while. And even then, we'll see. Hopefully.
You got your Laval tickets, though.
What?
You get your tickets to Laval, right?
Oh, a long time ago.
December 27th?
Something like that.
I believe it is.
Yeah. I don't even know if it's Raw or SmackDown or whatever. I have no idea.
I think it's SmackDown.
Oh, Tribal Chief?
Oh, if you're lucky. I don't know about that. I don't know if he works house shows that much anymore. He'll probably get Sami Zayn for sure.
Last house show I was at, he was there.
Yep, that was a rare one.
Maybe. Yeah, definitely get Sami Zayn. I mean, come on. Maybe even Kevin Owens, too. Maybe Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Seems to be the way they're headed tonight. right? Kevin Owens, the final member of the War Games team. We'll talk about SmackDown and WWE. I want to start with Full Gear. Let's get into the pay-per-view as we watch Athena
wins.
defeats Madison Rayne on AEW Rampage in an utterly meaningless match.
Well, it meant more than that Tony Storm versus Anna Jay match that we had to watch on Dynamite.
Tony Storm is the champion. Her matches mean something. What happened to the bunny? Was it the bunny was supposed to be the opponent? Why did Athena punch the ref? Why is she so mad? Oh, she punched Aubrey the ref. Usually it's the men ref that get punched.
See, this is definitely much more eventful than the Tony Storm match. All she did was like take a push and then like hold the title up.
You really didn't like that Tony Storm match.
It's just pointless. That was the main event. That was the main problem. And now what's this?
Who is
Mercedes
this?
Martinez, the ROH Women's Champion.
Okay, coming to confront Athena after she attacked Madison Rayne after the match. Cool. I don't even know what this is.
Well, looks like they're setting up a feud.
I thought Dynamite was decent this week. Like you mentioned, the Castagnoli Bryan Danielson over Jericho and Sammy Guevara match was pretty good. Solid match.
Yeah, but it was the opener, though.
Yeah, but then we had that 6-man that we talked about, Death Triangle versus AR Fox and Top Flight. That was good.
Yeah, that was surprising, yeah.
You know? 2 good matches like that. I thought Swerve Strickland and Anthony Bowens was pretty good.
Well, is Bowens actually hurt? Like, I don't know if you saw his arms in a sling. I don't know if you saw the photo.
Is that real? Is that a work?
Yeah,
because he was selling it during the match there. After the match, he was selling a shoulder injury, but I couldn't tell if he was actually hurt or just selling to seem like they might lose at the pay-per-view. I don't know.
Because it felt like he did that arm breaker thing, and they went home not too long after that.
Well, that's not good. If he's actually hurt, then the Acclaimed would probably lose the belts, you would figure. But I don't know. We'll see. That should be a good match. As long as Bowens is healthy. Because those two teams work very well together. They've had some good matches. I can't say I'm super hyped for that match just because we've seen them wrestle a couple of times now. This is the third one, right? And they're 1-1?
It's the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was Swerve and Our Glory 1 at All Out, and then Acclaim 1 at Grand Slam.
Yeah. And that's why the Acclaimed are the AEW World Champions, World Tag Team Champions. Acclaimed versus Swerve in the Glory. Let me try to get you some betting odds on this, John. But what do you think?
I mean, I'd go with the Acclaimed as long as that injury is not legit. Injury's legit, then they're losing, but I'm thinking they're winning.
The Acclaimed are a gigantic favorite, minus 2,000 to win. Swerve in the Glory,
wow,
plus 700. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, again,
I think the Acclaimed are going to win. Huh?
I mean, if he's injured, then they're going to lose, though. Because then it would open the door up for the FTR feud, I think, with Swerve in Our Glory.
Yeah. Ooh, we're seeing another spooky House of Black promo.
Why is there another guy?
Are there more guys? There's 3 more guys and a new lady. They got new people in House of Black? What is it? Oh, no. These are just dummies to get beat up by Brody King and Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black and Julia Hart in this promo that we're seeing. These are not new members, John. They are dummies to get beat up. Okay. They are jabronis in this hype package. Cool. So they'll come back at some point. Not on this pay-per-view. FTR not on this pay-per-view as well. Kind of surprising.
That's too bad.
Yeah, right?
That's really too bad.
Also, CM Punk not on this pay-per-view. What's the deal? Where's he
still
at?
hurts. So.
Yeah, I know. Um, I just like pretending I don't know what the hell's happened. What? I don't have the internet, guys. I just watched Dynamite. Meanwhile, I'm streaming live on the internet. I don't have internet access, guys. I don't know what. Did something happen with CM Punk? Nobody told me. Last time I checked, he was a world champion, and nobody said anything. Imagine there's a guy out there that
pay-per-view, yeah. You're like that, actually.
Imagine there's some guys out there that are like, I wonder what happened to CM Punk. He was a champion last I looked. If you know that CM Punk was a champion, you probably know what happened too, right? AEW doesn't really have to explain it to you. Everybody knows.
The media scrum was like the biggest thing. Like besides Vince, the media scrum was the biggest thing this year. So
yeah,
if you know anything about wrestling, you know that happened.
Yeah.
I think more people watched media scrum than they watched anything else, I think, this year.
More people watch that media scrum than watch the pay-per-view.
More than likely.
Yeah.
I mean, tomorrow is going to be crazy, and everyone's going to want to see what's going to happen with that one.
I mean, they've done media scrums after pay-per-views before, and they've been pretty normal. The only one that got out of control is CM Punk's.
Yeah,
and he's not there.
I mean, if you're going to have the Elite back, and they're going to be feeding questions to them, like, right there, I mean, you're hooked.
That could be interesting. Yeah, if Kenny goes out, Kenny and the Bucks go out and talk after their match. Is being the Elite coming back?
You would think everything would come back, right? Of theirs.
Yeah. What's the story?
They got the video game. Apparently, they're going to showcase at the pay-per-view as well. So
yeah, I want that game.
I wonder if Punk's still in the game. We'll have to wait and see. Still on the cover.
Was he on the cover?
He was on the cover. He's like the main guy on the cover.
My God. That's great. Oh my God. What are they doing? That's too bad. That's a real shame. All right. Let's talk about the Elite.
You just forgot to mention, like, Captain Insano, like, made an appearance. You didn't mention that yet.
Right. Big Show. Paul White appeared as Captain Insano in the Acclaim's music video. I like Max Caster's rap, actually, kind of making fun of Swerve. I thought that was pretty entertaining. I like the video.
Well, the Jay Leno thing was like, I don't know if you need to do that, but okay. Like,
yeah, it was a bit of a low blow. Like, I kind of feel bad for Jay Leno. The guy had his face explode. He got serious burns, right?
Yeah, it's kind of rough, but
yeah, I don't know why he had to make that crack. Yeah, it was a little
edgy.
Yeah, but he's a babyface. You know, he shouldn't be saying stuff like that. I think people in general feel bad for Jay Leno and what happened to him. Could have died.
Well, Tony Schiavone actually said, like, we actually feel really bad for Jay and hope he's doing okay.
Yeah, Schiavone said that because he had to.
Yeah.
Because I think he was a little shaken up by it, like, oh, come on, man. That wasn't cool. But the music video itself was pretty good that the Acclaim did.
Except the ending.
Where they were skipping?
Like, Billy Guys just, they're skipping, holding hands. It's like, what are you guys, the best friends now? Like,
yeah, I don't know what that was about. But we both think that the Acclaimed will win, and the Acclaimed are huge favorites according to the betting odds, minus 2,000. That is gigantic.
Watch them lose.
Yeah, right? How about the Elite? Are they going to win? Do they take their trios championships back and just kind of move on like nothing happened? It's like, oh, thanks, Death Triangle, for holding on to these for a bit while we were wherever suspended, or I'm not exactly sure where they were or what they were doing.
They were erased, not?
Yeah, but were they suspended? Like, what's the official?
Again, post-media scrum. Let's check it out.
Hey, guys, where you been?
I mean, the way I look at it, if you bring them back, I mean, and give them the title shot, like, they kind of have to win, no? Like, you don't bring someone back just to have them lose. You bring them back because you're kind of reestablishing what they were going to do in the first place, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Or do you see it differently?
No, I think you're 100% right. I think you bring them back because
they got a match.
they're there to be the champions again.
So we got the Best Friends against the Nightmare Factory. Apparently, that's a new match added
Who cares?
to the pre-show.
Yeah,
I know you
pre-show
don't care,
matches. Best Friends versus Nightmare Factory added to the pre-show, making this pay-per-view even longer. Now a 12-match show with
but
the pre-show
not longer.
matches.
It's on the pre-show though.
Yeah, still 10 matches on the main card.
Well, it's
I
not
believe-
14. Last year it was 14.
Yeah, I believe starts at 8 p.m. It should be fun, but yeah, they are marathon
Saturday.
pay-per-views.
Saturday. It's not so bad.
No, I'm into it. I'm down to watch AEW Full Gear tomorrow night. I think the Elite and Death Triangle is going to be a great match. I like the build to this match, and I want to see the Elite become AEW World Trios champions once again. Take the belts back and move on like nothing happened. Do whatever the plan was with those trios belts when you won them the first time. Right?
Oh, there's a
trying to
lot
get-
of teams they could face.
Betting odds for this match, and I don't see them, which is odd.
Well, because the match was just added so recently, so it's probably they weren't up to date on the betting odds. But I'd be surprised if the Elite weren't the favorites. Again, like someone coming back, a team coming back, it'd be very surprising for them to lose. Like if Punk came back, Punk would win.
Depends against who.
Oh, sure.
Right?
I think he'd win, but
We'll see. I don't know. Maybe not against Kenny Omega. All right. So how about the big one, MJF versus Jon Moxley? Moxley cut a promo this week. Got some boos from the crowd in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Moxley says he's the best professional wrestler on the planet. And he does this because he's sick in the head, man. He's addicted to the rush and the pain. Because he's tortured and he's crazy. Ugh, you know? And it was a little, not great. I can't be hurt because I don't care. I don't care. That's who I am. I'm Jon Moxley. And MJF is just a kid playing a wrestler, and he's filled with fear because he thinks he can't live up to the hype. And then Stokely Hathaway and the Firm show up and attack Moxley. And then MJF comes out and takes all of the Firm out by himself. Which kind of shows you, Moxley couldn't do that. He got beat up by them, and MJF just beats them all up by himself. What's going on there? Well, he kicked him in the balls, mostly. And then MJF cut a promo on Moxley. And he basically says it's his time, and he doesn't want Moxley to... He saved Moxley not because he likes him, but because he didn't want his Mark fans to make excuses for him when he beats him and becomes a new AEW World Champion. And then Moxley took the mic away from MJF eventually and started talking about this Sunday I'm going to da-da-da. And then Moxley had to say, it's actually Saturday. He asked MJF, he's like, the show's on Saturday, right? Yeah, MJF's like, yeah, Saturday.
Well, he said multiple times it was on Sunday.
He did, yeah. And then he said, Saturday, finally, the training wheels come off for MJF. And then they stared at each other with Regal there.
I thought he was making a joke how it will be on Sunday because by the time they get in the ring, it'll be past midnight probably.
No. I don't think that was the joke. I think he just didn't know.
Yeah, I'd probably... Because, Sunday usually is a pay-per-view. That's probably why.
The final promo was... But they've done enough.
Well, it should end with them, though. I mean, that made sense. It's a top match. It should end the show. But, I mean, they really have peaked in terms of what they can do. Like, with the whole Regal promo that they did beforehand, you really couldn't top that. So, this was just, they had nothing else. So
and MJF, you keep saying he's not going to use the diamond ring to beat Moxley. He says he's going to beat Moxley, but he's not going to use the ring. And then he keeps saying, "Isn't that right, Regal?" You know, like, because he's trying to prove to Regal that he can win without the ring, or like Ryan suggested earlier, and I think a lot of people are suggesting right now, does MJF know that Regal's going to be there to help him? Is MJF saying, "Isn't that right, Regal?" Because he's saying, "Hey, isn't that right? Because I don't need the diamond ring, because maybe I'll use your brass knuckles for the power of the punch, or maybe you'll use them instead on Moxley." Will Regal align himself with MJF? Or will MJF do it alone? I think either way, MJF walks out AEW World Champion, but I could see Regal turning on Moxley and turning on the whole Blackpool Combat Club. I could see the entire Blackpool Combat Club imploding at Full Gear. I could see Danielson and Claudio getting into it. I could see Moxley kind of losing touch with Regal. I could see the whole thing coming apart. So, we'll see. But I got MJF winning either way.
Yeah, I got MJF winning. I feel like just the Blackpool Combat Club will turn on Moxley, period. Because there's little things, like you said, about Regal and MJF. Feels like there's something going on in cahoots there. And like Moxley mentioned that you beat my young boy. That's the only win you've had recently. Like I could see Wheeler being like, "I'm not your young boy, you know, don't call me something like that." You see something like that going down. And of course, Bryan Danielson and Moxley, the fact that Moxley's beaten him a couple times already, beat him last time for the championship, I can see that doesn't sit well with him. So I wouldn't mind seeing the whole Blackpool Combat Club like turn heel on Moxley.
The whole team turning on Moxley.
That would get people talking.
I don't know. Maybe just Wheeler and Danielson? Or Claudio?
I do them all. Yeah, why not? Like, just got Moxley out. Just kick Moxley out of the group
and replace him with MJF. That'd be weird.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic replacement, to be honest.
I think MJF and Bryan Danielson is a weird pairing. I don't see them together.
Yeah, well, I don't know about you. I never really saw Danielson and Moxley together, and we sat through this for almost a year now. So
yeah, but it's never really clicked, has it? Danielson and Claudio, you see them as a tag team, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense. They know each other for so long. They've worked together for so long. They make sense as a team. Moxley's always been the odd man out as far as, you know, our perception. Maybe he'll get kicked out. We'll see. The Elite, by the way, minus 2,000 favorites over the Death Triangle. MJF, a minus 1,000 favorite over Jon Moxley. So everybody thinks MJF will be the new world champion after Full Gear. And I agree with that. I think he will be.
Not the biggest favorite, though. That's surprising. I thought MJF would be the biggest favorite.
I mean, minus 1,000 is pretty much a lock, right? It's pretty heavy.
Yeah, but other ones are higher favored. Like the Elite are higher favored, no?
Yeah, they're bigger favorites. Elite are bigger favorites. And
the Acclaimed are
Jade Cargill.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
And the Acclaimed.
Jade should be.
The Acclaimed, Jade Cargill, and the Elite all minus 2,000 favorites. MJF a minus 1,000 favorite. Chris Jericho a minus 1,000 favorite to win his match. Jungle Boy minus 1,000 favorite to win his match as well.
I'm liking the betting odds so far.
Mm-hmm.
But that shows you the power of Moxley right there. It's that you know, he's been booked so strong that, you know, it does put some doubt into the betting odds a little bit. Just because, like, I mean, he's the only 4-time AEW World Champion, and no one's going to catch him for a while.
4 times means you have to lose it a lot. The company's been around for 3 years. That's not that impressive.
Well, he has lost.
And the last pay-per-view,
1 year.
Last pay-per-view that I saw from AEW, I saw Jon Moxley in the main event, pinned in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3.
Right.
Flat on his back, losing the world championship. So don't tell me how strong he's been booked. He hasn't been booked that strong. He hasn't been booked CM Punk strong. You know?
Well, he beat Punk though. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but not at the pay-per-view, not the real one. You know, not the one that people remember. All right, so we got MJF over Moxley. We've got the Acclaimed to retain their AEW tag titles. Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter. I think Tony Storm is going to win. I don't think that they put it on Jamie Hayter. Although this one, betting odds-wise, is a pick'em, minus 120 on either side. Odds makers are split on this one.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think Tony wins, though. Jamie Hayter's on a roll right now, but I don't see them changing gears and giving it to Hayter. I think they're going to stick with Tony Storm a little bit longer. She just won the belt.
Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah. And plus, she's still the interim champion, so you still have that built in where she should face Thunder if she comes back, or at least let her be the undisputed champion first before she loses it, I think. And that's what's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Should be a good match, though. I'm looking forward to that match.
Yeah, they know each other very well, like they've shown on those promo packages. I think they've done a good job in building this one. They lived with each other for a time. They're good friends. In real life, they're good friends. I know the promos are saying, like, oh, Jamie Hayter's Britt Baker's friend now, and she's not my friend. It's like, yeah, all right, I get that. But we know for real that you're good friends, and it must be very cool for you to be able to get this spot wrestling each other for the AEW World Championship on pay-per-view. Like, this is a big match for them. This is a big opportunity. This is probably the biggest match of their careers, both of them, right? So they're going to go all out, no pun intended. But they're going to, this is big.
Well, I think for Tony's one, she beat Jamie Hayter for the championship last pay-per-view. That was probably her biggest match. But, I mean, this is pretty big, too, because, singles against each other, against your friend. Usually that's always a special kind of deal for you. But, yeah, it should be really good. I wouldn't be surprised this is the best women's match we see on the show. But I was disappointed with that whole confrontation at the end, though. That was pretty weak, so I have a little bit of doubts because of that.
So Tony Storm beats Anna Jay by Texas Cloverleaf submission, and then Jamie Hayter comes out after the match. Britt and Rebel follow. Jamie gets in the ring, kind of points at the belt, and has a face-off with Tony. What did you not like about that?
They jaw jack. You can't hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
And like Hayter pushes her, and Tony doesn't do anything back. She just like, oh, bring it. And she already pushed you. And then she just raises the title. I'm like, that sucked. Like, that's a confrontation. Like, you just got punked out, and then you just raise the title. That's all you got. And then Jamie Hayter just walks away. That was terrible.
It was a little awkward. It felt rushed.
I felt like they had nothing to do. Like, oh, just, confront each other and that's it.
Mm-hmm. So we both have Tony Storm winning. We've agreed on everything so far, John. Jericho.
So far. There's a lot more matches left.
Yeah. Jericho defending the Ring of Honor world title in a 4-way against Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, and Sammy Guevara. I mean, this match should be good. It could be the match of the night, easily. I've got Jericho retaining. Like I said before, I just feel like Jericho will retain. I don't think Sammy's going to turn his back on Jericho, although he might at some point. But I just don't see it. I think Danielson and Claudio will have either a miscommunication or they'll just flat out turn on each other, which will lead to Jericho winning. Like I said, Jericho is the betting favorite, minus 1,000. Danielson, plus 400. Claudio, plus 775. Sammy Guevara, plus 1,600. So, Danielson, next to Jericho, is the second best bet in this match, plus 400. People think he has a chance, but Jericho is a big favorite. Huge.
Well, Claudio got the win on Dynamite. Good match, except that finish was kind of questionable, but whatever. But
why?
Claudio
he sharpshootered him.
Sharpshootered him, took the bat away from him, had the bat in his hand while I had the submission. Ref did nothing. This week I gave refs a lot of crap. Like I'll give him crap for this one too. Like there's a weapon in his hand and like you don't do anything. Like, come on.
Yeah, Claudio was kind of swinging the bat in the air as he
Well,
applied the
he just had
sharpshooter.
it. He had it
Oh,
on his
no, he
back.
had it.
Like,
Right. But he
yeah.
wasn't using it. But yeah, the ref didn't do anything.
You can't do that though. Like, you can just like flaunt it around like that.
It's AEW. They're kind of loose with the rules, you know?
Yeah, but that doesn't always slide. Like, I don't know. To me, that doesn't look good. We saw a lot of it on SmackDown. Like, one of the refs even, like, I got into it tonight with it just because, like, I thought the refereeing was so bad tonight.
What happened?
But we'll get to SmackDown later. But yeah.
Okay.
One of the refs tweeted at me because, like, I complained.
Oh, my God. Johnny
Hey,
getting
it's not
into
the end of the world.
beefs with WWE referees. I love it. It's fantastic. Okay.
Oh, Kingston lost. I missed that. Wow.
Akiyama and Takeshita beat Eddie Kingston and
Ortiz.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't see that one coming. Usually the Japan guys always lose.
Not always.
Well, I'd say 8 times out of 10.
I don't know. That was not, I mean, I don't know what kind of match that was. Didn't seem like a big deal to me.
Well, it was big for Eddie Kingston because Eddie Kingston really wanted that match, right?
Well, that's the kind of whole story. Like, Eddie Kingston's his big fan of Akiyama, and he wanted to have this match with Akiyama. So he had his match with Akiyama. Great. Is it for us? Did they do a good job of explaining to us who the hell Akiyama is? I really don't know. I, like, for a shoot, John, don't know who Akiyama is. I've heard the name Jun Akiyama, but I really don't know who he is. So I didn't care about this match one bit. Sorry. Do you know who he is?
It wasn't Jimmy Corderas. Sorry,
Okay.
I was just reacting to the thing, but it's not the Jimmy Corderas. It's actually one of the refs. I think is it Jason something, I think? One of the refs actually on SmackDown.
Okay.
We'll get into that later. But yeah, all I knew was because they cut a promo, right? And they just said that they're from DDT. And you're going to see the best of DDT tonight. That's all I got from that.
So he's from DDT. And we're supposed to know what that is, too. Right?
Yeah, apparently well, you kind of know what that is. Like,
I mean, I know what it is, but AEW doesn't do any kind of explanation. Like, what's DDT? It's a promotion in Japan. Okay. What do they do there?
Right.
Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about what they do there. Because you really don't want to know some of this stuff. It's a little weird. The referee that replied to you is Jason Ayers.
You're seeing the tweet, I guess.
Yeah, you said blind and deaf ref. And then he responded, didn't see that one coming, which I didn't really understand.
Well, because he's blind, right? So.
Oh, because he missed something?
Well, no, it's because
you didn't even at him. He just searched the SmackDown hashtag and saw that and decided to respond to you. It's kind of weird.
It's a popular hashtag, I guess. I don't know. But it's because of the match. It was Karrion Kross, I believe, against Madcap Moss. And it's the part where, like, they turn the ref around and Scarlett did the slap. And it's, like, as loud as hell. And, like, you know, there's no, like, hey, Scarlett, like, what were you doing? You know, and there's no reaction there. It's like, I mean, how could you not have heard that slap? You know, it's like whenever there's, like, a distraction, there's, like, a chair shot. It's like, you know, you're not going to, like, hey, what was that? It's just, to me, that always looks bad. Like, when there's a loud sound and the ref makes no reaction whatsoever. But it's also not their fault because they don't tell them to as well. Like, they're kind of directed, like, do this, do that. So, and it happens later on, too. We'll talk about it later on SmackDown. Like, it gets worse. So.
Yeah. All right, we'll get to SmackDown. Let's stick with Full Gear here. Jade Cargill taking on Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose stole the TBS Championship belt Jade is on a mission to get it back. I think we're supposed to be rooting for Jade Cargill at this point. Has she turned babyface? What's the story? I think Jade will win, though, 100%. She's a big betting favorite, and, I mean, come on. It's Jade Cargill. She doesn't lose, so let's go.
Well, that's the main thing, right? She doesn't lose.
Yeah.
And, like, you think Nyla Rose is the one who's going to finally beat her? I don't think so. Like, if Nyla was somewhat pushed decently, okay, but, like, they didn't really feature her that much. Just like, oh, I sold the title. I come get it. And that's pretty much all that's really happened. Like, she hasn't had big matches or anything, or, I mean, I think she's wrestled random people, but no one of no one of value. So how are we supposed to get behind this? This is the problem too. Like with a lot of the matches, like you just have these guys wrestle, and they don't really like face anyone that's like of note, like of name. Like it's hard to get behind stuff where it's just like, well, you're just wrestling people until we finally get the people that matter.
But Jade kind of crushes everybody. She squashes a lot of people, so she doesn't face, the upper tier of the women's division. She's the mid-card champion facing mid-card talent.
I agree. I was talking more about Nyla, though. Oh. Like, you're trying to build her up as this credible contender, right? Yeah. Who did she beat on the way to be, facing Jade?
Yeah. Well, she's a former AEW women's champion, isn't she?
Okay, she accomplished something like, years ago.
Yeah.
Like when AEW started. And what has she done since? Like she had a bunch of rematches with Sheeta, and that was, again, years ago. Again, who has she beaten recently? Like nobody really.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Exactly.
Maybe people on AEW Dark Elevation, elevated ×2.
Like, I could believe she could win if they actually build it properly, but they didn't. They just kind of like, well, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
A lot of the feuds were like this.
Well, I've got Jade Cargill to win. I don't know what the match is going to be. I'm hoping it's good, but who knows? Who knows? You thought that the Toni Storm Jamie Hayter will be the best women's match on the card. What about Britt Baker and Saraya? Saran Wrap, whatever her name is.
Saraya.
Yeah. I think that match could be good. The build to this has been really good. The promos have been good. Britt's backstage promo this week was solid. So was Saraya's. I like this. It feels real, too, between the two of them. It feels like there's some real heat. I don't know if there is or there isn't, but it really feels good, The stuff they're saying to each other, it's solid.
Yeah. It's because that promo on Dynamite threw everything off. Actually, a couple promos threw it off, but that last one was like, that was weird. Because Britt Baker's supposed to be the heel, and that felt like a face promo that she kind of cut right there.
Yeah. I'm not sure who we're supposed to cheer for in this one. Because, I know Britt is the heel technically, and Saraya is coming in, and she hasn't wrestled in so many years, and she's finally wrestling again. But Britt is loved by the AEW fans. Britt is the one that's been there for so many years. And Saraya, she's the outsider. She's the WWE person who's coming in here. And I think a lot of people would resent her coming in and beating Britt Baker, the DMD, on her first night in the company. That's a big win coming in first night in. But at the same time, Saraya hasn't wrestled in so long. You want to push her strong on her first match in so many years, in her first match in AEW. You want to make her look good. But I don't know if you want to have her beat Britt Baker. It's an interesting conundrum here. Saraya, minus 800 the favorite. Britt Baker plus 450 the underdog. I do feel like Saraya is going to get the win and Britt can take a loss because Britt is such a star. I could see that, but I think Saraya may get boos if she beats Britt Baker. I don't think the crowd is going to be happy with Saraya beating Britt Baker because AEW fans love Britt Baker. How could you not? She's been one of the most consistent performers at the top level in that company since it started. If you've been watching AEW, if you've been paying attention, you know that Britt Baker has been one of the best things going. Saraya just showed up. She's been okay, but Britt is kind of the AEW fan favorite here. So I think Saraya may win, but Britt will be cheered. Saraya may get booed.
Yep.
Saraya may get booed.
Well, I feel like that's why they did the promo. I'm thinking like they're doing somewhat of a switch. And they might even say like, oh, they switched it that night or whatever, but they've kind of already pre-planned it where it's already going to be switch where, you know, Saraya walks in as the face and then she's going to walk out as the heel and Britt the same kind of thing. They've already set it up where I feel like that's going to happen. And that's fine. Like, I feel like that'll kind of justify, like, Saraya's going to win, but she's probably going to cheat to win, you know? Like, you know, tights, whatever, rope, whatever. Like, she's going to do something, I think, where it's like it's kind of even, and then she's going to use some sort of cheat to win.
Well, I think this match could surprise you, John. I know that you thought that Hayter and Storm would be the best women's match, but I feel like Baker and Saraya may pull out something else. I think they may have the best women's match on the card, and maybe one of the better matches on the card. Britt,
it's just
pay-per-view Britt, you know, big match Britt.
Sure, fine, but there's also sometimes she doesn't have good matches. It happens, like chemistry. Sometimes chemistry just doesn't work, and there's so many question marks. I mean, this could be very good, but you also have to take into consideration that this is Saraya's first match in like over 5 years. So don't expect like the greatest thing in the world. Like, yes, she's one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time, no question. But to expect her to walk in there and have like the best match of the year, it's a little bit too high of expectations, I think. I mean, just have a good match, period. That's, I think, the hopeful goal here.
What do you think about the fans turning on Moxley a little bit on Wednesday night in Connecticut? And also the idea of MJF possibly turning babyface, because he does seem to be getting these babyface reactions. Do they need to put Regal with him to try and turn him heel? Will it work? Is MJF a heel or a babyface going forward after this match? We both think he's going to be the champion. I think most people think he's going to be the champion, but I don't think anybody can really figure out what the character direction is going to be going forward. What is MJF as the champion? How does that look? Is he a heel? Is he a babyface? Is he still getting cheered? I'm interested to see what they do with him going forward, and I wonder, you know, what the crowd reaction will be for MJF and Moxley come match time. Will the crowd in New Jersey, MJF from Long Island, you know, not too far away, will that crowd be fully behind MJF? It's a very interesting position that MJF finds himself in right now, because at the same time as being possibly the top heel in the business, he's also becoming one of the top baby faces, which happens.
Yep.
Which happens. Happens to the greatest, you know? Happened to Stone Cold, happened to The Rock. It seems to be happening with MJF. But I think MJF, if he does start to turn babyface, or if he doesn't, whatever, needs to remember a lesson that Stone Cold Steve Austin taught us, and that is remain true to the character. Don't soften because you're a babyface. Stone Cold didn't care if you liked him or didn't. He was going to be Stone Cold. And he was Stone Cold when you didn't like him, and then when you did like him, he was still Stone Cold, and it didn't really change. Toughest SOB, you know, he wasn't really any nicer as a babyface. Although he did save Stephanie that one time from Undertaker.
Yeah.
Who was going to crucify her, which was a surprise. I was like, is Stone Cold going to do it? Then he did save Stephanie, even though she's Vince's daughter, and Stone Cold hated Vince. And Vince thanked Stone Cold. But then in the end, it was me, Austin. It was me all along. Right? It was Vince all along.
Yeah, but in the end, it was right for Austin to do that.
Corporate ministry, pal. What?
It was right for Austin to do it because Vince was using his daughter. It's tormenting her. So
yeah,
it was right for Austin to at least save her.
Was she in on it?
No. And she credited that for the reason why she turned on him, remember?
Oh, that's why she turned on Vince later on.
Right.
What a tale that was. What a great story. Ministry of Darkness. And then corporate ministry with Ken Shamrock and Big Boss Man for some reason. Evil Boss Man. All right, Full Gear. Let's get back to Jeff Jarrett was probably around at that time. He's wrestling still. Sting was definitely around, not in WWE, but, he was around. He's been around since the 80s. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal taking on Sting and Darby Allin in a tag team match. I'm going to go with the Stanger, because the Stanger never loses. Seriously,
right.
he never loses. So I think he wins. They are the favorites, minus 400, Sting and Darby. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, plus 250. This could be great. This could be awful. Not sure.
I think it to be, the typical Darby Sting match. They're going to do crazy spots, whatever, and have moments where people are going, oh my goodness, Sting can do stuff like that. It's unbelievable. I'm expecting some crazy bumps. And, it'll be all right for what it is, but I don't think it's going to be the best thing you see on the show.
No.
I mean, Jeff Jarrett, I don't feel like he fits in AEW. It's fine they want to give him a match with Sting and they let him do this, and I guess he's had a great year in the sense that he's done so many different federations in 1 year. It's good for him, but this isn't a match that, you're looking back on saying wow, remember that one?
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised it's happening in 2022, aren't you?
They didn't have anything else, sadly, for Darby and Sting. That's the truth of it, I think.
Yeah, they're just opponents for Darby and Sting. Let's get Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal in here. Okay, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy inside a steel cage. This could be good. Former tag team partners. This is a big match for them. This is a proving ground here. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy need to show that they can be players in AEW. They need to show in this match that they can come out and have one of the better matches on the card. Right? They need to deliver.
Well,
it's a steel cage match. It's the only real gimmick match of the show. I mean, we got fatal four-ways and triple threats and stuff, but this is a steel cage. Nothing else is getting a gimmick. This is a big spot for them. They need to deliver. They need to deliver. They need to deliver one of the top 3 to top 5 best matches of this pay-per-view. 10 matches on this pay-per-view, they have to be in the top 50%. Otherwise, they're not going to be looked at as legitimate players going forward in AEW. And I'm not just talking about Jungle Boy, but Luchasaurus as well. It's sink or swim right now. Their tag team is broken up. They're not a tag team anymore. They have to be singles wrestlers. And they have a big match with a long build against an opponent that they know very well because they've been tagging together for so long. It's a steel cage match. They've had a lot of time to prepare. They've known about this match for a while. This is make or break for them in a lot of ways. I mean, they'll give Jungle Boy a million opportunities because they love that guy, but this is still, I think, for wrestling fans, maybe not for AEW management, but for wrestling fans, this is an opportunity for Jungle Boy to really prove himself as a top-tier world championship type level. MJF and Jungle Boy, I think, are roughly the same age. MJF might even be, they're exactly the same age. And look where MJF is and look where Jungle Boy is. At one point, people were saying what the four pillars of AEW were: Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara, MJF, and Darby Allin. Rank those four and where they are in the company. I don't know where Jungle Boy ranks, but he's not top 2.
Oh, he's 4. I would put him 4.
I would too. I mean, Guevara's doing his thing. He's a big name in the company. MJF, of course, is going to be the next champion. And Darby, Darby is a star. And Jungle Boy, he's fallen behind. He's got to show up. I think he wins. I think he beats the Luchasaurus.
Right.
But I'm really hoping that this match delivers. Jungle Boy minus 1,000 the favorite, so heavy favorite to win.
Yeah, I really wouldn't worry about them having a good performance. I mean, we saw their match in Toronto. That was a great match. I think just adding a cage is just going to add on to the excitement of what they could possibly pull off. I think this could be, again, like maybe not the best match, but like you said, one of the top matches on the pay-per-view. You throw in Christian, where he might be a little bit of interference here or there. Yeah, I think this is going to be solid.
I think we're going to see MJF doing some crazy stuff in this one. Jungle Boy doing some crazy stuff in this one.
MJF's doing the show then if he's doing that.
Yeah. No, MJF and Jungle Boy is a match that I think AEW wants to have down the road. Like that in
of course.
Their perfect world, in 5 to 10 years is their main event, is their top rivalry. These guys are both 25 years old. But I think MJF and Darby could do a great program right now. I don't know about MJF and Jungle Boy. I don't think Jungle Boy is seen as anywhere near MJF's level. Shout out to Patrick Deneau, one of the members of the team, one of the supporters of the Ringside Report Network. He says MJF will stay heel somehow. And how does AEW deserve my money for this pay-per-view? Not the best card? I mean, I think seeing MJF become world champion for the first time is worth the price of admission. MJF really is a generational talent. I think he's going to be one of the top stars in the wrestling business for the next 10 to 20 years. So seeing him win his first world title, I think might be historic. To be quite honest, I think this is going to be historic. So I would tune in for that. Other than that, though, you got Jericho, Danielson, Castagnoli, and Guevara in a ring together in a 4-way. It's hard to go wrong with Jericho, Danielson, and Castagnoli, And Guevara's there too. But Jericho, Danielson, Castagnoli, you should buy that. You know what I'm saying? They're wrestling. Yeah, I want to watch that. It's Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho. These guys are the best. You've got Britt Baker and Saraya. I'm very interested to see Paige wrestle again. What's that going to be like? Death Triangle and the Elite. I really want to see the Elite again. What kind of reaction do they get from the fans? Will the fans boo the Elite? Do they resent the Elite for taking away their precious CM Punk? There might be something
That'll
there.
Be interesting, yeah. Yeah.
There are a lot of CM Punk fans. A lot of people angry.
Wait until they go to Chicago. Oh, boy. Can't wait for that. I think that's 2 weeks.
That'll
be fun. Next week in Chicago. Wow.
Next week's Dynamite is in Chicago, and the Elite may be coming in. Imagine a promo in the middle of the ring and the Chicago crowd with the belts that they just won at the pay-per-view. Whew.
I mean, you'd expect they almost have to, right? I mean, if they just came back, yeah, they have to do a promo.
I want it.
Oh, they're going to get killed. They might not walk out of Chicago. That'll be bad for them.
That's going to be great. Oh, I want it so bad. I think it's so funny. Such petty nonsense. Okay. We're still trying to get through the pay-per-view here. We have one match to go, John. We've almost finished. Patrick says the Elite is money. Thank you, Patrick. Patrick is a member over at donate.ringsidereport.net. You could go to donate.ringsidereport.net or join.ringsidereport.net to support the Ringside Report Network and all the shows that we do. Once again, we'll be on after AEW tomorrow night for the review show. Right after AEW's Full Gear. Myself, my brother, Johnny, big time show. Wardlow will be defending his AEW TNT Championship against Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs. I just got a Powerhouse Hobbs action figure. It's a pretty nice one. I can't find it.
Wow, they made one. That's cool.
Yeah, they made one. It's nice. Where is it?
But I don't think he's winning the championship, though. I think the TNT Championship does not change hands. If anything, I think Hobbs probably gets pinned in this match. I don't think Joe's going to lose, being a champion himself.
Oh, no, not
but
Hobbs.
He's going to lose because Joe's not going to lose. Joe's just to add to the match to make the match better, which he will.
Yeah. You don't think Hobbs takes the belt from Wardlow here? Wardlow is the favorite, minus 185. Not a huge favorite. Hobbs plus 165, Joe plus 650. I don't think Joe wins, but I could see Hobbs winning. They like Hobbs. Wardlow is TNT champion. I think has been one of the worst TNT champions.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Well, I feel like the belt used to mean something in AEW. And it doesn't so much anymore. Remember when Miro was a TNT champion? I miss those days. I miss Miro, too. Whatever happened to him?
Yeah, it'd be good to see him again. I agree.
I don't know. I think Wardlow is cool and all, but I think he's lost a lot of momentum since winning the TNT title. And interest in the TNT title, I feel like, is at an all-time low. From the days of Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin to now where we are. I mean, this was a championship that was highly regarded. Brody Lee, you know?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, you could switch the title by just having Joe get pinned by Hobbs. You could do that.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's interesting.
I'll go for the upset. I'll go with Hobbs. What the hell? Change it up, John. All right?
I mean, we can't go exactly the same.
I can't go exactly the same. It's not as fun, you know? And then this way we're picking all the same as the betting odds, and that's not as fun either. Got to go with an underdog every once in a while. Spice things up. Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks.
I had no idea what the betting odds were.
Yeah,
I had no idea what the betting odds were.
Well, that's it. You didn't need to. You knew what was happening. Because the betting odds are so strong in one favor that it just means every wrestling fan kind of figures. You know, it's obvious to all of us. Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks. I got Ricky Starks.
Yeah, that's a safe bet.
And he'll face Ethan Page on Dynamite in the finals of this tournament, where the winner will get an AEW World Title shot. And then you got the best friends, Trent and Chuck and Rocky Romero and Danhausen versus QT, Aaron Solo, Lee Johnson, and Nick Camarado and Cole Carter. It's a 10-man tag. Orange, Trent, Chuck, Rocky, Danhausen against QT, Solo, Lee Johnson, Camarado, and Cole Carter. I don't think I'll watch this match. It's on the pre-show. I'll probably open the pre-show, and I doubt I'll see it. I mean, I might see it, but I don't know. It's a lot of wrestling, man. It's too much. It's too long.
I agree, but if I got to pick someone, I'd pick the best friends, I think.
I agree. I think the best friends probably win. And that's AEW's Full Gear. Going down tomorrow night, we will be recapping the show, giving you our review right afterwards, whenever that may be.
Probably
hopefully
in the morning.
Yeah, hopefully not too late. Maybe 12, 12:30. I'm hoping not 1. I'm hoping before 1. My God. Congratulations, by the way, to the new Bellator lightweight champion, Usman Nurmagomedov. Just beat Patricky Pitbull by unanimous decision, cruised through a decision victory for the new Bellator MMA lightweight champion, 155 pounds. Usman Nurmagomedov, 16-0 as a professional, 24 years old. He is Khabib's cousin. Undefeated. You know, this team, they just keep producing these monsters. Khabib is the coach of Usman and also the coach of Islam Makhachev. Usman and Makhachev now the lightweight champions in both the UFC and Bellator. Like, ridiculous.
Nice.
So, I was watching
When's
that.
When's the Fedor fight?
Fedor?
He's supposed to fight for Bader again, isn't he?
Oh my God, is he?
I'm pretty sure that's happening. I
Oof.
think that's your next watch long, probably.
Oh, I don't know about that. Oh yeah, Fedor's going to do a retirement bout. This was just announced earlier today. Fedor's going to fight Ryan Bader. How about that? Ooh, I don't like that for
For the
Fedor.
title, no?
Is it for a title? Like the Bellator heavyweight title? Possibly? No, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah, possibly. That's crazy. Yeah, they're going to fight at some point. Cool. February
I look
4th.
forward to the watch long. Should be a good
February
watch long.
4th. Heavyweight championship. Fedor in his retirement bout will face heavyweight Bellator champion Ryan Bader. February 4th at Bellator 290. Cool. And the card will air on CBS. Wow. How about that? Good for Bellator. Wow. Okay. Cool. All right, so that's AEW, and that's what's going on there. How about the WWE, Johnny North? We saw Smackdown tonight. You liked Smackdown? It opened with a Sheamus, Drew, Ridge, and Butch promo. Sheamus talking about how he's had a rivalry with Drew McIntyre for so long, but then also mentions that a couple of weeks ago, Drew was the best man at his wedding. It's like, wait a second. I thought you guys hated each other up until like a few days ago. Why is he the best man at your wedding? It didn't make a lot of sense to me. Anyways. The promo happened. Sami Zayn came out, guaranteed that the Bloodline will win at War Games, and I'm like, no shit, Roman's on your team. You know? Yeah, opening promo. It was and then they said, "Oh, Sammy, you're not going to like who our final War Games partner is for our team. You're going to be in big trouble when he comes out here." And then, of course, in the main event, it was Butch beating Sami Zayn. Butch hit his finisher, got the pin on Sammy after Sammy was mildly distracted, I guess, from Sheamus attacking Jey Uso outside the ring. Even though the Usos and Solo Sikoa were brawling with Ridge and Sheamus and Drew pretty much the whole time during the match, right?
Yeah, but Jay got in the ring, though.
Oh, and that distracted Sammy, right? Jay
Yeah.
kind of getting in and getting out. Roman Reigns showed up after the match. Everybody was kind of fighting, but they slowed down when Roman showed up because, Tribal Chief. And then Roman took out Butch and Ridge. Isn't that dumb when, like, everybody's fighting each other and then music hits and they still are, like, throwing punches, but they're just kind of, like, throwing fewer punches and slower punches? I hate that.
Did you hear them say, like, is he here yet? I heard
No.
that.
And Roman's, like, slowly walking to the ring. It was so awkward.
Of course.
That was not good. Roman took out Ridge and Butch, and then eventually Sheamus came in to brawl with Roman, and then Sammy attacked Sheamus and got pushed down, but that allowed Sheamus to fall victim to the Superman punch from Roman, and Roman was setting up a spear on Sheamus when Kevin Owens' music hits, and Owens super kicked both Usos, came to the ring for Roman. He punched Roman and then put the boots to him, but then Sami Zayn stepped in and kind of had a face-to-face with Owens. Didn't attack him, but just kind of stood there and distracted Owens, allowed Roman to hit the Superman punch, but then Owens saw the spear coming, didn't take the spear from Roman, hit him with a knee to the face, and then a stunner. And Kevin Owens stood tall at the end of SmackDown. So that was fun to see, and that is a setup for a pretty good War Games match. I mean, Survivor Series next week, that War Games match, the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, the Usos, Solo Sikoa, and Sami Zayn taking on Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Pete Dunne Butch, Ridge Holland, and Kevin Owens. Pretty good. That is a solid lineup right there. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Like War Games, it's more of a spot fest now because they don't have the top on the cage anymore. So it's a bunch of just do a bunch of crazy spots, and it can be fun. I just again these kind of matches, if they drag, you kind of lose that fun and excitement. You just kind of almost want it to end. So we have two War Games. I just hope they don't kill like all the cool stuff in the first match. Probably be the women's match first.
What is the reasoning behind taking the top off the War Games cage? It feels like it's not really War Games if there's no top on the cage.
Because it's the WWE version of War Games. Because they believe, this is their thinking here, that you can do cooler stuff if you don't have the top on. Because you can do stuff off the top, right? They've come up with ideas where it's cooler to do stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I like the way it looks with the cage on top. That's what War Games is supposed to look like.
I agree.
Okay.
This is WWE War Games, not WCW War Games.
I like WCW War Games, baby, where the big boys play. Ricochet delivered a line tonight that should live on in Botchamania history. I know you're not into big thinking. This is what he said to Braun Strowman. I know you're not into big thinking. You're looking way too far into the future. What? The hell does that mean?
Yeah. What does that mean? I don't know.
It meant nothing. I don't know what the hell he was saying. This guy made less sense than Bray Wyatt tonight. Ricochet to Braun Strowman. This is the exact quote. I know you're not into big thinking. You're looking way too far into the future. What the hell is this guy talking about? Ricochet, man. The promos.
The best
part,
out. Though, like, you notice when Braun, he just suddenly coughs during his promo. Like, was there supposed to be like a pause or something? But I think he just coughed because
he was blown up. He just had a match.
He's like, excuse me. You never see that. You never see that. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I think because it was live and he was talking and he just had a match. It was New Day and Braun Strowman beating the Imperium. And choking I think he was.
Spit.
Huh?
He's choking on his own spit, probably, or something.
Whatever, it happens. It was fine. Added some realism to
it. It just seemed funny.
I like that match, New Day and Strowman against Imperium. It was solid.
Well, here's my problem with it.
Uh-oh.
You have mystery person, tag, whatever, followed by mystery, like, entrant for the War Games. It's like, how many times do you overdo something? And this is a recurring thing that's going to happen on Raw, where they just overdo something, like the theme is mystery person in a match, and then mystery person in another match. It loses its luster when you overdo mystery person all the time,
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I don't know. It didn't bother me, Like, I get it.
All right.
I get it, but I love a good mystery person, John. What can I say? You say it's going to be these two and somebody else. I'm like, oh, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Every time. They get me every time. It doesn't lose its luster for me. Every time I go, who might be this person? And then it's always somebody else. And I'm like, all right. I'm never that excited. It's cool to see Kevin Owens come out tonight as the last member of the team. That was fun. I kind of expected it. But I also read recently that he was injured, possibly. He's been out with an injury, so maybe he wasn't... I guess it was a possibility that he wasn't going to be able to make Survivor Series, so...
Right.
I'm happy he's not hurt, and I'm happy he's able to do it. But I wasn't sure he was going to be the guy. But I kind of figured, I wasn't sure who else they would pick. I thought maybe Braun Strowman, right?
Well, yeah, but, this World Cup thing, so it makes more sense. And plus, since he had that face-off with Gunther, it feels like that's probably what's going to happen in Survivor Series.
Yeah, it did seem at one point last week that Ricochet, who had a little backstage confrontation with Gunther, he was going to get the the win in the World Cup and get the title shot. But now Braun Strowman just had a match with Gunther in that 6-man tag, and I feel like we're only just scratching the surface between Braun Strowman and Gunther. Is Ricochet Braun the finals of the World Cup?
Actually, it's only the semi, so we're not even going to get the finals until maybe after Survivor Series.
Oh my God!
Because we're doing the first side, right? The bracket, like semis, like you said, like so. Then we have to get the finals match. So, like the winner of Braun, I think Ricochet, who would they face? It would be Escobar or Butch, right? Because Butch won the main event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they could do those matches on SmackDown and then do the final match, I guess, at Survivor Series. Or maybe they just do it all on SmackDown because it's a SmackDown World Cup, right?
Problem is that's 3 matches, right? Like I can see the semis like next week, but then you're gonna do the final the same. You know, you could do the final at Survivor Series, sure, but the title match would have to be another night.
They probably do the finals the week after on SmackDown and the title match the week after that. Stretch it out.
Probably.
The World Cup of Soccer hasn't even started yet, and this is what they're promoting. Fox has the exclusive rights in the United States for broadcasting in English, the World Cup of Soccer. And that's starting, I think, this weekend, so that's why the WWE's doing this WWE World Cup. It's not because they actually want to do a WWE World Cup. I mean, half the guys they have are not from the countries they're actually representing. Jinder Mahal's Canadian. Mustafa Ali is American. There's another guy who's American who's representing another country, I think. Silly.
I forget.
Sami Zayn is representing Canada. He lost, though.
Well, that's accurate.
Butch represented England. That was accurate. Some of them are accurate. Okay, what else do we have here? Shotzi over Shayna. Raquel Rodriguez showed up and distracted Shayna, which allowed Shotzi to get a roll-up and win. Yeah, not the best.
So,
whatever.
Remember what I said about, like, bad refereeing? Like, this was the epitome of bad refereeing tonight. Like, you noticed probably, like, Ronda blatantly pulled the leg right in front of the referee.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, got up on the apron and started playing with Shotzi's hair.
Mm-hmm.
Right in front of the referee.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, we just do whatever we want now, I guess, right? Like, because it's Ronda, I guess, so who cares?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ronda was touching Shotzi right in front of the ref, and the ref did nothing. I didn't get it.
Well, because it's Ronda, like, I can't disqualify Ronda, right? Or say anything to Ronda.
I don't know. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. I get it. The match itself was kind of uneventful. It happened, It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't anything special.
Well, they had to give Shotzi a win, right? And, it's a slip on the banana peel victory, whatever, so.
Yeah, not a great win.
No, it's not, but they had to give her something, right? And, like, it's the only way she could possibly beat Shayna, so fine. Now you can move on and get the Survivor Series where she'll just get destroyed, like,
yeah.
You know the outcome anyway, so I'm not really worried about it. To me, the best part in terms of, like, confrontations was the LA Knight Bray Wyatt thing. I thought that was pretty good.
Now, Bray Wyatt cutting a promo in the ring and then apologized to LA Knight for attacking him last week, and LA Knight came out and he says, "Oh, Bray Wyatt, you don't understand me. Nobody understands me." What the hell? I don't know. There was some moments in this promo that were not great. LA says, "Oh, Bray, I think you respect me." And then he goes to shake his hand, but he slaps him instead. And then he goes on the apron and he says, "Okay, now we're even, Bray Wyatt. You attacked me and I slapped you. We're even. I accept your apology now." And then Bray says, "Okay, we're even. Now come shake my hand." And then he goes to do it, and then he gets slapped again. LA Knight slaps him again, and then Bray looks really mad. You like this?
I thought this was fine. This was good in terms of, like, what's going to happen later on. Like, he's going to get his in the end.
Later on, we found LA Knight buried under some stuff. Just some random junk backstage.
Well, first, though, he did a promo saying, like, you know, he'll just do whatever he wants. It's LA Knight. But when he opened, I don't know if you noticed when he opened the door, there's like that, it's like some sort of face figure, like in the darkness.
Yeah,
Like it was coming for him, you know, like whatever it is. I don't know if it's Uncle Howdy or whatever or
it's
something, but
evil
something.
Bray. It's the evil Bray Wyatt. It's Demon Bray. I'm
But
not into it.
I
You
liked
like that?
how
You like that?
I actually how it all came together. Like to me, like this was fine because it's like it's a perfect build in terms of like LA Knight got a little bit in terms like he got the slaps in, but then he got his in the end too for doing that. Karma came back, and Bray got to do his character thing without actually doing the character thing.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather this than all the spooky, stupid lights. Instead of like, well, something happened, guys laying down. I'll take that over like all the dumbness that we see. To me, this is fine.
That entrance takes forever.
Yes.
Like his music is playing for like feels like 5 minutes before he even steps out the curtain. It's ridiculous. I was sitting there like,
To
is he
me,
coming out? What is this?
there's more
Weird.
time on entrances or just their little like Roman coming out, whatever. There's more focus on that than almost anything else on the show. Like the
Yep.
wrestling doesn't matter. It's all about the entrance reel.
Look at Karrion Kross and Scarlett and their elaborate entrance. There's more emphasis put on that than the match between Karrion Kross and Madcap Moss. Karrion Kross and Madcap Moss. They should be a tag team. Kross and Moss. The Kross and Moss connection.
But they
But
gave
they're
us a
not.
story though, because Madcap was trying to get revenge because he lost his voice. And
Mm-hmm.
Emma was trying to cheer him up, saying he's more athletic. He definitely looks more athletic.
Yeah, it didn't work out, though. He got put in the same chokehold that made him lose his voice a month ago, and then Karrion Kross wouldn't release it after the match. And then Kross eventually released it when like 3 refs came down. And then Emma came down to check on Moss to see if he was okay. So Emma is with Moss. I think they're a real-life couple, you were telling me, John, and now they're doing it on TV. And,
Right.
well, not doing it on TV, but, being a couple. And Karrion Kross and Scarlett, of course, are a couple, so maybe a match between those 4 at some point. It is wrestling. You would think they'd be doing a match, building towards a wrestling match, maybe.
I mean, if you want to see that, I personally don't want to see that. I think there's a reason why we haven't seen Scarlett wrestle whatsoever in WWE, and
Yeah, I don't need it.
let's just, yeah, we don't need to see it, so let's just keep doing what we do here.
Which is what exactly?
Well, we're having Madcap versus Karrion Kross and endless matches right now.
Do we have
So
to
that's
keep
what we've
doing
been
that?
doing.
I don't need to keep doing. Let's not keep doing
Every
that.
so often, every so often,
Did you like the match tonight?
It wasn't the worst thing. I had a problem again with the slap thing, but that's just little things.
I'm trying to figure out why you like this show more than Dynamite. Like, I know you didn't like the main event of Dynamite, but I don't know. Ricochet, Mustafa Ali, Mustafa selling his
That was
taped
great.
ribs. You thought that was great?
What a great match, man! That
Sorry.
finish, that was spectacular finish.
Yeah.
Standing shooting star press, that was fantastic. And the whole Ali selling the whole match, trying to fight from behind kind of thing. Like I thought that was a great match. Great way to start the show.
I thought it was all right. I don't know.
Like I'm not saying it was the best match ever, but I'm like to start a show. I mean that's how you do it. I mean WCW used to start with cruiserweight matches, to get the crowd going. This was the match to do it,
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I thought SmackDown was okay tonight, but I didn't think it was incredible. I thought Dynamite was a little bit better. I like the matches on Dynamite a little bit more than I like the matches tonight on SmackDown. That's how I'm judging it. Just kind of on the wrestling matches. I thought the Danielson Cesaro versus Jericho Guevara match was better than anything we saw on SmackDown tonight.
Yeah, that's fair to say, but again, that was the opening match on Dynamite. And that was a huge problem too. It's like when you have your best match right away.
Top Flight AR Fox against Death Triangle, I thought was better than anything we saw on SmackDown tonight too. Those 2 matches alone.
It was good.
Steal the week.
It was good.
Right.
I wouldn't say if it steals a week. I mean, again, like it's the whole show together too. They're both 2-hour shows, and to me, SmackDown, like, to me, it flew by. Like it's 2 hours, but it felt like it just was done so quick. Unlike that dredge that is Monday Night Raw, like the worst television show that airs weekly.
Yeah, I mean, we can
You want to
agree
talk
on
about
that. Yeah, it's usually, between SmackDown and Dynamite as to who puts the better wrestling show on, and Raw is nowhere in the conversation. Seth Rollins and Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley and Mustafa Ali and all that stuff. Lashley beats Mustafa Ali again this week. Mia Yim beat Tamina.
Oh, that was the bad women's wrestling. Ooh, some really bad women's wrestling on Raw this past week.
Gable and Riddle was excellent, though.
I like that match, yeah. That was a highlight.
And Gable won. Gable beat Riddle this week. I thought that was really good. But Riddle and his bongos, you want to hit my bong and all that stuff, and his band with Elias, like, it's not good. But the wrestling is very good.
Promos are bad, yeah.
Promos are bad, wrestling is good.
Stupid.
Yeah. See, Riddle, he's got good promos, bad wrestling. No, sorry. Bad promos, good wrestling. Corbin and JBL, opposite problem. Good promos, bad wrestling.
Well, they didn't wrestle really. Oh, I mean,
no, Corbin did.
Corbin
he wrestled Tozawa.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it.
I like the backstage segments better with the drinking and the poker and the Tozawa. That was
the highlight
good stuff.
Of the show.
Yeah, it was good. It was actually good. I'll tell you, you put JBL on Raw, backstage, drinking beer or whiskey or whatever he was drinking and playing poker, solid. It's a proven formula that works. You put Bradshaw backstage on Monday Night Raw playing poker, and it will work, damn it. It worked for years with the APA and Farouk, and god damn it, it's going to work with Baron Corbin. It's a different version, slightly classier, slightly more grown up. JBL's not wearing a cutoff t-shirt and jeans anymore. He's wearing a suit. He's not...
You say grown up? What?
Well...
Didn't he say something about, like, how Kentucky, like, oh, you're going to marry your cousin or something?
Yeah. But, the point is, JBL, he looks more grown up because he's wearing a suit now, not a shirt, not a t-shirt. And also, back when he was Bradshaw and APA, they had, like, a fake door, and they had, like, a, shitty table. But now they have, like, a nice kind of poker room. The poker room looked a lot nicer. That's what I'm saying. It's similar to the APA. I mean, they're not protecting anybody, but they are playing poker backstage on Raw. But it seems like more evolved for JBL. And then eventually it led to a match.
No Farouk, though.
No Farouk, unfortunately. Damn. The Miz did a Miz TV.
Oh. It gets worse.
There are some things that are dragging Raw down. The Miz, Dexter Lumis, Johnny Gargano angle is a big thing that's dragging Raw down. It's a major factor in the failure of Raw. It is terrible.
They said it's almost over.
Stuff. Is it over?
Well, we're going to get that match eventually, they said. That's what I got out of that.
Mm-hmm. Johnny Gargano says Miz hired Dexter Lumis to attack him to trick people into caring about him and making him more interesting. And Gargano is now incensed because he wants Miz to pay Lumis what he owes him. Because he's friends with Dexter Lumis. And then Lumis revealed himself as a cameraman in the ring under a mask, and Miz ran away to end the segment. Dominik Mysterio beat Shelton Benjamin in an embarrassment for professional wrestling.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Oh, my God. Can we talk about those terrible punches of Dominik Mysterio? I mean, we always talk about how bad they are, but to me, it hit a new record low of, like, how bad it... Like, this was like... Remember that Dark Order thing? With the whole, like, they attacked the Elite?
Yes.
And those punches that... Like, I thought we were on par right there, because I feel like we're getting flashbacks when he was doing the whole mounted punches, and I feel like he was punching the ring. I was like, no, like they just aired that on Raw. It's so bad.
It's an embarrassment.
And he's a twig too, so it looks even worse too. Like the other guys were covered up, like he's a twig, so just a little crummy arm going like that. Like, it's pretty bad.
Nothing believable about it. Him beating Shelton Benjamin was just so not believable. Shelton is a big guy who can wrestle for real. Dominik Mysterio,
well, legit athlete, yes.
like everything Dominik hits on Shelton looks fake. It just looks like Shelton is allowing him to do it because he's Ray's son. He's like, all right, kid, come on. It looks like he's playing with him and letting him win. It's stupid. It looks bad.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it looks like. It looks like a wrestler is letting the son of one of his wrestler friends, who's got a couple of moves, beat him in a pretend match. Oh, you got me, kid. Good job. That's what it looks like to me. You know what I mean?
No, I completely agree. To me, like, Dominik, I feel like he's regressing almost. Like, I thought the one saving quality with him was that he had good bumps. But his bumping was awful. Like, every time he get hit, he would just, like, put his arms out wildly, and, like, he would just, like, his bumps that make barely any sound whatsoever. Like, it just felt like he was falling around and, like, had no fight in him whatsoever. Like, the second Shelton hit him, it's like he's automatically dead. Which, I mean, he should be. But it's like, well, Shelton should win the match right now. And for whatever reason, I don't know who books the show, but they obviously don't watch the show. They kept doing the whole, like, the heels are going to have the advantage. Let's throw them into the ring post. You saw this throughout the whole 3 hours, all the time, almost every match. I don't know if you caught that or not, but, like, that happened in this match. It happened in the Austin Theory match. I think it probably happened in the Lashley and Ali match as well, where it's like, oh, we need a huge thing. Let's throw them into the ring post. Eventually, the ring post is just a piece of garbage because everyone takes it.
Yeah. It means nothing. It means nothing.
Why does everyone have to do the same exact thing, too? Like, it throws it off when everyone does the same thing.
I don't know, man.
Like,
There's a lot of things on this show I can't explain. I mean, that's, the least of my worries. Well, Dominik Mysterio beat Shelton Benjamin on TV. I mean, forget the ring post thing and the lazy booking, but, I mean, how about just egregious errors in judgment? It's crazy.
But this is why they're doing it, because they have to come up with reasons for how Dominik could possibly win. They can't think of any good reasons, so they just recycle ideas already used in the same show.
Mm-hmm.
But this is it. And how many times do they have to use interference? Like 3 or 4 times in the whole match. Again, burying the referee, who, like, lets it slide that they interfere 3 or 4 times and just, like, oh, get down, whatever, and that's it. Doesn't throw them out ever at one point. Heaven forbid, like, you have interference stop happening in the match. It's just frustrating watching Raw. Really frustrating.
I liked Austin Theory's backstage promo, though. He showed some fire. A little bit of a reboot for Austin Theory.
Kinda. Like, I mean, he's still a loser. I mean, like, that was still dumb. Like, oh, well, I couldn't cash in on Roman Reigns, so I'll cash in here. And it still didn't work. But now I'm all intense now. I'm like,
well,
that's fine.
Hold on. He explained why he didn't want to cash in on Roman Reigns, because the bloodline was always there, and he knew that he wouldn't be able to stop them from interfering and cashing in. He tried to cash in, and he was always stopped by Brock Lesnar or the bloodline or whatever it was. He did try to cash in on Roman and failed a couple of times, or at least once. And he said the bloodline's always there. Twice, yeah?
I think twice at least, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, he attempted. It didn't work. So he cashed in on Seth, but then Bobby Lashley interfered and cost him the match. I thought the fire and the logic was there for Austin Theory. And then Dolph Ziggler showed up and wanted a match. And they had a match, and then Theory kind of lost it and ended in a no contest when Theory just kind of lost it and started tossing Ziggler around, beating him up. Hit his finisher a couple of times and rolled him outside the ring and then flipped the stairs. And they landed on Ziggler's arm. And then he threw an announce chair on Ziggler. He kind of went pretty violent there, Austin Theory. I liked it.
Well, he lost the match. Like, he got disqualified, no?
Was it a disqualification? I thought the match I don't think the match had an official ending.
Well, when you start throwing people into stuff and then they start ringing the bell,
Oh yeah.
typically that's a disqualification. Typically, like I don't know, like they might say it was a no contest and the match just ended. And they've done that before too, as well.
Yeah,
Where
I
they
feel
just
like it
the match
was.
just ends,
Yeah.
which is also ridiculous. But whatever. I mean, to me, the way I look at that, that's a disqualification. You threw them into stuff and you start throwing stuff, that's a DQ. But whatever, like however they want to protect people and all this, like it was ridiculous. Theory had him beat, just pin him 1, 2, 3. But no, I got to go crazy and show this new thing. I'm more serious now, kind of thing, and that's fine. But he still didn't become the WWE champion. He had the briefcase. He lost it. It's nice he has this new serious gimmick, and they gave the selfie gimmick to Logan Paul instead. That's fine, but he's still no really further ahead. He's just, oh, I'm serious now. Okay, fine. You have a pouty face. That's nice. Like, was the match any better?
I mean, the
Were you
match with
more interested
Ziggler
in the
was
match?
not. Yeah. I don't know.
It was all right. Like it was typical like Ziggler kind of match. Like it got better as it went on, but it didn't start off that good, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like it got better in the second half, which is all right, but it's still like with Theory, there's still a lot that can be done there in terms of his wrestling. Like it's getting better, but there's still a bit of ways to go there.
Theory did close the show. Seth Rollins got the win over Finn Balor after a distraction from the Judgment Day and the OC fighting ringside. Seth managed to hit his finisher on Finn for the win to retain the U.S. title. Austin Theory attacked Rollins after the match and posed with the U.S. title as the show ended. There seems to be a battle between Seth and Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley and Mustafa Ali all over the U.S. title. Maybe a four-way at the pay-per-view?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like it's quite a weird four-way for them to do something like that, but it's not impossible, I guess.
They're
It
all
just seems kind of
involved.
odd that, yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I would do like a three-way number one contender thing to see who would face Rollins at the Survivor Series. I would do something like that, but maybe do a four-way. I mean, why not?
I think I'd like to see a four-way, actually. I think Seth, Bobby Lashley, Mustafa Ali, and Austin Theory would be an interesting match in a fatal four-way. And Io Sky beat Dana Brooke this week with a top rope moonsault. Io is so good. Dana is there, but Io is fantastic. And then Mia Yim showed up, and she says that she is going to be on the Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss team in War Games at Survivor Series. So there you go. And Rhea Ripley will be the fifth member of the Damage Control team. So it'll be Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky, and Nikki Cross, and Rhea Ripley against Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Mia Yim, and somebody else. We don't know who yet. Becky Lynch?
Sasha Banks?
Ooh, that'd be big. Sasha Banks would be huge.
However,
Survivor Series is in her hometown
Banks.
of Boston.
It is, but there is news about Sasha Banks. I don't know if you can keep it up to date with that or not.
No,
or...
I don't know. What's the news?
Well, just that, she's been advertising where she's just going by Mercedes, formerly known as Sasha Banks or WWE superstar Sasha Banks. That's what she's going to advertise now. So some people look at that as like she's moving on from WWE and just going to be doing more acting, filming career instead.
I could see that. So if it's not Sasha, Becky, Charlotte, somebody else, somebody that's actually on the roster right now.
I mean, to
not
me,
Dana
like
Brooke.
they love doing this whole, not Dana Brooke, but they love doing this whole like, oh, this comeback, and it's like, okay, that goes over like a wet fart. Like, Tegan Knox coming back. Like I know, see, I'm on your face perfect example of that. Like, I think some people would be like, "Oh my goodness," and you'd be like, "Eh."
Yeah.
Like, I could see something like that going down though, because there is a bit of a history there with damage control. I think for most of those people involved, I think in there, even Nikki Cross, if I'm not mistaken, I think may have had a history with Tegan Knox.
Okay. I could see it. Hasn't she had like a million knee injuries?
She did have like at least 2 or 3.
Okay. Well, we will see. We will see who the final member is. I guess they'll announce it next week. Next week on SmackDown, we got Drew and Sheamus versus the Usos. And Shotzi and Raquel will take on Ronda and Shayna. And Ricochet versus Braun Strowman in a World Cup semifinal. All next week on SmackDown. Miz versus Dexter Lumis set for Raw in 2 weeks. If Lumis wins, Miz has to pay him the money he owes him, and Lumis gets a WWE contract. And I guess if Lumis loses, he has to go away forever. And AJ Styles versus Finn Balor is official for Survivor Series, which should be good. Can't hurt.
I hope so. Like, I didn't mind Seth Franklin against Finn Balor, but that finish was just so like messy, and like I'm not a big fan of like, something's happening on the outside, so everyone just dies in the ring, and then we'll go right back to the finish in the ring, like which took like 10 minutes or 5 minutes have already passed. And, now we'll do the finish because now it's the time.
We'll see. We'll see what we see.
It's what happened too. Why did Dominik come in the ring there and cost like Finn the match? That made no sense.
I don't know. Why are you trying to find logic in this?
I'm just saying the match was so messy, that finish. Like, so many people interfered because you had the OC interfere in that match. You had Judgment Day interfere. And then everything got kind of lost. And then, oh, by the way, here's the finish in the ring. It took away from what they had in that match.
I don't know. So I'm getting information here.
You getting tickets to Elimination Chamber now?
Am I? I don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure what this link is, but this is not a... I'm being sent a link for tickets to something, but I'm not seeing tickets. I'm looking at the Elimination Chamber tickets that are available, and they're all like in the nosebleed section. I don't want that. I'm not trying to buy tickets in the 400, 300 section. That's not interesting to me.
That doesn't sound great at all.
No, I'm not getting tickets there. I don't see where there's other tickets available here. I'm getting a message from the producer saying there's more SmackDown Elimination Chamber tickets available, but I'm not seeing that. And the link you sent me sends me to Facebook.
All the good ones. All the good ones are gone, I think. Like, I got a message like in 3 hours, like all the good ones are gone.
I think what happened was they didn't release a ton for the combo tickets. Right. They're waiting for they're going to release.
December 2nd.
Is that when it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do. All right. So that's when it'll be easier to get tickets. Got nothing on this link that I got sent here, so just distracted me. All right. We're going to be back here tomorrow night for the Full Gear post show. We'll be recapping everything at AEW's Full Gear. And Johnny North, before we go, when can people see you in the ring?
Well, it's going to be December 4th. We already mentioned it for Torture Chamber. I'll be wrestling Nick McHaggis. I also wanted to mention, did you catch that Sky 2 Hottie story?
What? No? What happened?
You didn't catch that thing? Like, because apparently, like, he got a bit of heat because he doesn't want to wrestle intergender matches. I guess you didn't catch that tweet that he put out?
No.
And he received such hate for it that he's off Twitter now because of that.
Okay.
And it's a shame, like, regardless what you think, about his personal opinion, like, he doesn't want his daughter seen him wrestle women or like hurt women. Like he doesn't want his daughter to see that. Like people got so much hate for that, you know, like I think that's wrong. Like I agree that, you know, there should be intergender matches. Like I'm a fan of that, but I also understand other people's view where they're not comfortable doing that for whatever reason. And like to me, like that reason is fine. Like I don't get why people have to get so mad about it, but people get mad about everything, sadly.
Yeah, and people get. I mean, I don't know exactly what the content of his tweet was, John, so I can't really comment. I don't know. Maybe people are mad for a reason.
You know, well, because people want to, you know, defend that type of match, and I get it because like there's a lot of people like against it, right? So, and then if someone like him of note, again, someone who's fame, you know, puts it down, well, people know of him, right? You know of him, so that's something.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Who cares what Scotty 2 Hotty's gonna do with intergender wrestling? Like the guy barely wrestles anymore. He's like 50, 60 years old. Who cares? This is a non-story to me. Scotty 2 Hotty doesn't want to do intergender wrestling. Okay, don't book him in intergender wrestling. Who gives a shit?
Right.
Who cares?
Right.
I don't know why people get mad about his opinion. I mean, if he doesn't want to wrestle women, I mean, that's fine, I guess. It's fine if he doesn't want to do it. I don't know how many women are just dying to wrestle Scotty 2 Hotty. How many women out there are like, oh, no, I don't get to wrestle Scotty 2 Hotty. This sucks. I bet you some women probably want to wrestle him more now just so they can get some stiff shots in. But other than that, who cares? You know, who cares? I know our buddy Green Phantom's going to wrestle Lufisto in a match coming up. She's a woman. Green Phantom versus Lufisto. That's going to be crazy.
Well, that's interesting because there's history there.
Oh, yeah?
Because, you know, well, I mean, you know, one's the hardcore hero and, like, she was, you know, queen of hardcore for a long period of time. So, you know, that's kind of big.
It is big. I want to go and see that match. That's pretty cool. Green Phantom versus Lufisto. I saw that advertised. I was like, oh, good for them. Good for Phantom. That's a cool match. Lufisto is a legend. So is Phantom. That's cool. Cool booking. All right. I'll be back with you, John, tomorrow night after Full Gear. Or early Sunday morning, however long this pay-per-view goes. Right?
If we survive.
Shout out to the members of the team. I saw a couple of you in here tonight, Tony Mack and Ray Cruz, and all the other members of the Ringside Report Network. Of course, our buddy Patrick Deneau as well. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Tony. And thank you to all the other members over at donate.ringsidereport.net or join.ringsidereport.net. We sure do appreciate you supporting our little channel over here, the Ringside Report Network, and we will be back here, like I said, tomorrow after Full Gear, as we are on after every single wrestling pay-per-view, WWE and AEW. We are on after every single one of those shows, reviewing here, and of course we'll be on next Saturday after WWE Survivor Series. So 2 weeks in a row here, 2 big weekends for the pro wrestling world. We've got Survivor Series coming up next weekend. And this weekend, it is AEW's Full Gear. It's Full Gear weekend right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.